On May 25, 1977. In 1977, a film changed cinema forever. But how did a sci-fi epic with no stars become a global phenomenon? The 1970s were a time of uncertainty. Vietnam shadows lingered, oil crises spiked inflation, the counterculture era faded. The world needed escape, and it was waiting for a story that could take it somewhere else. Millions returned home with broken bodies and broken spirits. Hollywood's golden age had collapsed. The studios were in disarray. What could restore faith in the future? A film that promised something new. Superman had flopped. Star Trek had vanished. The audience craved spectacle, but nothing had prepared them for a space opera with a budget of $11 million. The gamble was enormous. The stakes were higher than anyone realized. George Lucas had spent years fighting for his vision. The special effects were untested. The story had no clear hero. Critics called it a folly. Fans called it a miracle. The world would soon decide. The first screening was in Los Angeles. The theater was packed. The audience sat in stunned silence as the opening scene played. The camera swept across a desert, and for the first time, the galaxy felt real. The posters bore no big names. No superheroes, just a spaceship and a tagline. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The world had no idea it was about to witness the birth of a legend. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. The audience gasped as the Death Star's destruction unfolded. The room erupted in applause. This was no ordinary film. It was a revolution in storytelling. The special effects were groundbreaking. The Star Destroyer's shadow loomed over the screen. The TIE fighters darted like missiles. For the first time, audiences saw space not as a fantasy, but as a frontier. By the end of its first week, Star Wars had grossed $12 million. The studios were stunned. The film had broken records. It had defied expectations. It had become a phenomenon. George Lucas stood in the theater, watching his film for the first time. He had fought for every frame, every effect, every moment. And as the final scene played, he knew he had created something that would outlive him. The film's success triggered a merchandising boom. Action figures, posters, toys flooded the market. For the first time, a film's universe extended beyond the screen into the lives of millions. Critics initially dismissed the film, but as word spread, the reviews turned. The New York Times called it a landmark in cinematic history. The world had discovered a new kind of storytelling, and it was unstoppable. Decades later, the film's influence is everywhere. From fan conventions to theme parks, Star Wars has become a cultural touchstone. The galaxy that began in 1977 now spans books, games, and films, and continues to inspire new generations. Disney's Star Wars Land is a testament to the franchise's enduring power. Visitors walk through the Death Star's corridors. They ride the Millennium Falcon. The world that began with a single film now feels like a living universe. Millions dress as Jedi, stormtroopers, and bounty hunters. Conventions are a global phenomenon. The film's characters have become icons, not just in fiction, but in the real world. The original trilogy was just the beginning. Sequels, prequels, and spin-offs followed. Each generation found its own story in the galaxy. The saga grew, but its roots remained in that first film from 1977. Star Wars redefined how films were made. Its use of practical effects, its emphasis on character, and its epic scale set new standards. It showed that science fiction could be both artistic and commercial, a lesson still followed today. The galaxy that began in 1977 is now a global empire. Its influence spans continents, generations, and media. Star Wars was more than a film. It was the birth of a new era in storytelling, and it's still just beginning. Explore the birth of a universe. Subscribe for more stories that changed history.